Sadly enough, we have to continue talking about insecurity. Insecurity also happens to be the subject of tonight's episode of On the Record. In the last few weeks, the North Rift has been in the headlines over runaway cattle rustling and killings. And now it appears that some government official is getting desperate. But can he take the law into his own hands in the name of security? Here now is Sophia Wanuna with this episode featuring Baringo County Commissioner Peter Okwany.
Killings, destruction of property and theft of cattle continue in parts of northern Kenya unabated. With pressure mounting on the government and security agencies to deal with the crisis, this is what Baringo County Commissioner Peter Okwany said last Thursday.
Atoa amri kama je ukipata mtu yako na bunduki ikenyo kibagitiolo maskari askari hata kama ni mchana hata kapet hata kama ni usiku andakogo hata anasema hiyo ndio fimbo yangu ya kuchunga ng'ombe
A shoot to kill order. That is a strategy the president's representative at the county level is proposing in tackling insecurity and banditry. I say proposing because, serious as he sounds, the county commissioner has no power to issue any order to police officers. Never mind that the order itself is illegal, regardless of who makes it. But we shall return to that a little later. See, the National Police Service Act, Section 8, clearly states command of the service shall be under the overall and independent command of the Inspector General, appointed in accordance with Article 245 of the Constitution and the provisions of this Act. This therefore means that the county commissioner, though he chairs the county security committee, has no command power whatsoever over officers in the service. On that score alone, this shoot-to-kill order is a nullity. But that is not the most worrying thing about the purported order. The pronouncement itself is illegal and would still be, even if it was made by the Inspector General of Police or indeed the President himself. The Kenyan Constitution protects life as a fundamental right. Article 26 of the Constitution states that every person has the right to life. In fact, the basic law is also explicit on the circumstances under which this right can be limited. The same Article 26 declares that a person shall not be deprived of life intentionally, except to the extent authorized by this Constitution or other written law. Notice it does not say or as authorized by a county commissioner, as Okwany seems to believe. Article 24 of the Constitution also states that a right such as the right to life or a fundamental freedom shall not be limited except by law. Even then, there is one more stringent requirement, and that is found in the same Article 24, subsection 3, which requires that the state or officer, while seeking to limit any right or fundamental freedom enshrined in the Constitution, must go before a court or tribunal, not at a baraza or public rally, and justify that intention, but even then, only according to the law. So does the county commissioner not know what the law says, or is he simply said, the law be damned and he will do what he pleases? The use of firearms itself is a strictly regulated affair, even when in the hands of law enforcement officers. The National Police Service Act 2011, for instance, provides that firearms may only be used when less extreme measures are inadequate, and for the following purposes. A, saving or protecting the life of the officer or other persons, and B, in self-defense or in the defense of another person against imminent threat of life or serious injury. If this be the legal standard, then why would the county commissioner say this?
Mtu ambaye anachoma nyumba saa zingine anaelekea kwenda kuchoma ama amepatikana anaendelea kuchoma ama ameshatoka.
Let's take the last part for illustration. How is the police officer supposed to meet someone and immediately decide that the person has just been burning a house? Is it the look on their face, the smell of smoke, their partly burnt clothes, or perhaps a matchbox in their hand? But according to the county commissioner, it doesn't matter. The officer should simply still pull out his gun, aim at the person, pull the trigger, and shoot this supposed arsonist dead. That is how much power a shoot-to-kill order gives an officer to be the accuser, the prosecutor, judge, jury, and even the executioner. Where does that leave the age-old principle of presumption of innocence until guilt is proved? The danger of this strategy was captured by one viewer on Twitter when KTN aired this story on Thursday night. He simply asked, what happens when you realize you have shot the wrong guy? You can't unkill them. But Mr. Okwanya seems to have taken the cue from his colleague in Mombasa, Nelson Marwa.
Si watu wa kushikwa wamepatikana ndiye huyu ako na hiyo bunduki. Mariza yeye hapo. Anapelekwa kotini kufanya nini?
Marwa has repeatedly declared his impatience with the legal process and even gives updates on how well the shoot-to-kill order is seemingly doing.
Last Friday tuliswaga 5. Halafu Sunday wawili tumeokoa bunduki.
You see, there is a little detail about these county commissioners that is hardly talked about. These offices are not created by the Constitution. In fact, there are those who believe that they should not exist in the first place. But they have an appointing authority here in Nairobi. Remember this?
Kama mimi silali, hata nyinyi hamtalala. Mpaka tuhakikishe ya kwamba tuko na usalama katika taifa letu.
These people, all 47 of them, report to President Uhuru Kenyatta. That is because in May last year, the president announced he had delegated some of his powers to them. But no delegated power is greater than the express provisions of the Constitution. Further, the president cannot delegate powers he does not have, and he does not have power to break the law, because he took an oath to protect the Constitution. So when his representatives at the county level issue shoot-to-kill orders at public barazas without any reference to the law, are they speaking for him? If not, why hasn't he admonished them? If so, then the problem is much bigger. Or could it be that these representatives of the president are simply inspired by an illegal pronouncement from the capital, such as this?
I also further direct the Inspector General of Police to take urgent steps and ensure that the 10,000 recruits whose enrollment is pending promptly report for training.
That was the president's answer when 148 innocent Kenyans were killed by terrorists at the Garissa University College in April. But even a deadly, unfortunate terrorist attack could not justify breaking of the law, because even sustainable security can only be founded in the rule of law. For in its absence, only anarchy reigns. Finally, let's not forget that in the case of Baringo, the shoot-to-kill order came in the midst of a disarmament program announced by the government. And a disarmament program and exercise is one that heavily relies on trust. And when the Baringo County Commissioner says, then it's unlikely that these residents will surrender their arms. Sensing an imminent threat from the officers, they might even seek to kill the officers before they are killed. The current constitution was endorsed by more than 2/3 of Kenyan voters at a referendum. And only they can change it if they don't like it. The county commissioner and of course the president, who appoints and keeps him in office, would do well to remember that. Always.